I'm Lori and I love books. I'm sorry it's been so long since I've posted. I've been having some health problems lately, so they haven't been resolved yet, so I'm hoping to keep up the posting schedule that I want to do, but I can't guarantee anything at this point. So I'm going to go back over my October TBR, and then I'll go over my November TBR because I had missed putting up my October TBR this year. So the October TBR is based on witches, is the theme. So the first book is Little Witch Hazel, A Year in the Forest by Phoebe Wall. And this is about this little witch Hazel who goes through the 4 seasons. Each season is a different story, and it has a lot of nature in it, and she's kind of like the helper of her neighbors. So it's a very interesting community, and I really did enjoy I really think this is an enjoyable book. It looks very colorful. The next book I got is a graphic novel called Witch for Hire by Ted Nefe. And basically it's about a girl going to high school. She gets stuck at the loser table, and one of the other supposed losers at the table claims to be a witch and wears a witch's hat, and it kind of goes from there. And it's like taking place in modern times. So I thought it was going to be a very interesting book, and I do like graphic novels, and it's a fairly colorful. It's got quite a variety of different shades of color in it. The next book is The Edge of Strange Hollow by Gabrielle K. Byrne, B-Y-R-N-E, Byrne. And I got this book because it said if you liked The Girl Who Drank the Moon, you'd like this book. It's of a girl and her parents that live next to Strange Hollow. The parents go in to the forest and then they don't come back, so the daughter and her friends have to go and try to rescue her parents. So it kind of sounded similar to Fablehaven, but I definitely wanted to give it a try. So there's that. The next one is by the author who wrote The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and that's by Kelly Barnhill, and it's The Witch's Boy. And basically 2 twins go out on a raft, and only one twin survives, and the village that they live in blame the survivor. So it sounds like it should be an interesting book, a different kind of story. I'm definitely willing to give the author another try, because usually if I like one book by an author, I like a lot of books by that same author. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the last book for October that I planned to read was The House in the Cerulean Sea by D.J. Clune. I've heard a lot of great things about this book. It is an adult fantasy book. It's of found family. Like a social worker goes to the Cerulean Sea to check on basically an orphanage for special children. So it sounded like it'd be really good, and sounded like it'd be a beautiful setting as well for a story. So I'm looking forward to that. If I don't read this year, it's probably going to be on my top of the list for next year. I've really been wanting to read that for the last couple years. So now we're going to switch into November's TBR, which is based on horses. I just found I had a lot of horse books, so I thought I'd do a whole TBR on it. So the first one is The Fire Pony by Rodman Philbrick. And basically it sounds like it's about a boy who finds a pony that can start fires. So that sounds interesting. And a friend has to help them out. So it sounds like it could be a cute little adventure book. The next one is Mountain Born by Elizabeth Yates. And this is about a little boy who's 6 years old named Peter, who has an orphan lamb named Biddy. And Biddy helps Peter grow as a person. So it sounds like it'll be a fun story that takes place in the mountains. And then the next one is a classic called Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. and it's historical fiction, but it takes place through the eyes of a horse. So it's got the slightest bit of fantasy, but the most of it is very realistic. This is a Barnes & Noble edition. I have read this book before, and it's been many years, at least probably 15, so I wanted to give it a reread because I like rereading books and seeing if I still like them or not. So are there any books you like rereading? If there are, let me know in the comments below. I'd love suggestions for what to read, which is why I kind of got into BookTube in the first place. The next one is The Blind Colt by Glenn Round, and this says it's the 80th anniversary edition, and I've never heard of this, so I don't know a whole lot about it. It's a Western story. It's got very simple illustrations at the bottom of the book and throughout, and there's some slightly larger ones, but I don't really know anything about the book, so I'm definitely looking forward to kind of reading this mystery of a book. But if it's been around for 80 years, that's usually a good sign. I've had some issues in the past with classics that I was like, yeah, I don't know why you still are around. But the next one is The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse by Charlie Mackesy. I have seen this book around town and in a variety of stores, and I thought I'd get a copy. I don't really know anything about it, but it looks like it's a fairly simple story with lots of illustrations, and it just sounds like a interesting menagerie of characters. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then this next one is a little bit outside of my what I normally read, and it's called The Marble Fawn by Nathaniel Hawthorne, and it's basically a murder and a romance book, which I don't get how it can be both. I've read The Phantom of the Opera, which it tries to be both, but like either you kind of focus on the romance or you focus on the horror side of things. So it's an odd combination. And basically, four friends are linked when one of them commits a murder. So as they are traveling, so it's like a take on Americans from abroad. And like I said, this isn't normally something I read, but I saw it and I thought maybe I'll like something a little different this year. And then the last book is the Children's Classics Club book for November, and that's At the Back of the North Wind by George MacDonald. Basically a little boy named Diamond meets the North Wind, and the North Wind takes him on her back as they go through adventures, as she does her work as the North Wind, and he meets different people along the way. His family is fairly poor, and his dad's a carriage driver, and his mom's a stay-at-home mom, and so he helps the people that he's around, and it's a very poignant story. It can be very sad, but I figured it'd be a very good book to read in winter time because the North Wind is very cold. So those are my TBR for October and November. If you like or subscribe, thank you very much. If you have any comments or ideas, put them in the comments section. I love reading comments. And until next time, have a lovely time reading. Bye!